why that place is likely to have problems. And also they deal with issues like hate speech, negative ethnicity. Those are some of the things that bring about insecurity. So in short, you will need a dedicated department at IIBC that would look at the issues of security. Why I'm saying in there is because so that there is what you will call loyalty, if you like, and accountability. A policeman who comes here today and leaves tomorrow, it makes it very difficult to make him accountable. That is the way I see it.
Okay, Dr. Ndeba, as I told you, the police know what their responsibility is. IBC knows that the police are supposed to do this job. You have these policemen or policewomen on the ground, and obviously their reporting hierarchy is to police, not to IBC. Now, this has been the blame game. You see, like in the Kenya Police Services now, you have the police serving the tourists, right? We have some sectors of ATPUs and all that. Now, do you think IBC should have a section, or the Kenya Police should have a section of their own police mending elections or electoral matters?
At least at the headquarters level, so that they can take charge of the strategies of security. When you call policemen to come, they just come. You have not discussed, you have not agreed, you have not identified the problems. So what needs to be done is a senior officer with a critical mass of officers who will sit down and map these hotspots and also recommend the strategies, particularly the strategies that are aimed at preventing such, knowing very well that sometimes they happen because of certain politicians. So such matters taken, action can be taken in advance.
Dr. Ndeba, yes. I think it's just human that you see one of the things which, in my opinion, is the police, given the job, come from that area many a times. And of course, they are known to the troublemakers. So many a times, it's going to be either, turn a blind eye or just walk away. What would be the position then? Yeah,
such are the issues that will be discussed in the strategy meetings of that directorate I mentioned about. What you have just said, Dr. Abdallah, is quite true. That is what happened.
Right. Okay. Coming to my next discussion with you is on 15th June 2021, the IBC launched the 2024 strategic plan, elections operations plan. From this strategic plan, the Commission's strategic focus is now on the 6, what they call them, KRAs. Right? KRAs is a key result areas, yes. Right? I obviously wouldn't like to be unfair to tell you to go through this. I will read them, yes, what this KRAs is, and we request you to give your input as fast as you can.
Thank you.
Because otherwise we will go out of time and we won't be able to share your experience. Yes. Right. Number one. The fact is that they have identified these things confirms that there is something to be done. Otherwise, they would have not identified those things, right?
Yes.
So what could you add as an input to be looked at, or what would you add then? One is strengthening the corporate governance. Would you like me to go one by one, or I give you all the 6?
Yeah. Well, I think it will be a choice.
All right, I think we go one by one, just in case you run out of time.
Yes.
So you need to be a bit, I've seen your PhD is business management, yeah, and time is money. For you, time is important for you to be able to comment on the 6.
Yes.
So we go. Strengthening the corporate governance. What
Yes.
would you do different?
Yes, I have seen, I had a glance at the strategy, because it doesn't go much more, because when you're talking of governance, among other things, like legitimacy, accountability, and so on, there is the issue of participation. I did not see a clear cut policy on how to deal with the myriad of stakeholders so that there is a participation. They were not very clear about that. So that is an area I'll go into, like establish relationships with our stakeholders. That is how I'll deal with that area there.
Okay. Dr. Ndemo, I think in my opinion, maybe time is not for us. I'll pick on out of the 6, the one which are related to your experience.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
So, public outreach through effective voter education, strategic partnership, collaboration, and communication. That is in line of your work of experience.
Yes.
What do you have to say about this? How should they do it?
Voter education is one area that can, you say, if sometimes they can use standardized contents. What I will recommend is that my take on this will be that we go specifically, because people do not vote, or they vote because of various reasons. One of them, you will have a minority that is disadvantaged within a given ethnic group. Women, for very many years, have been disadvantaged. So these messages that we will carry in voter education must specifically target these groups. Because if somebody feels I'm a minority all the time, then it is very difficult to convince that person to go and vote. So, in short, I'll target these disadvantaged groups so that they can be very active in participation in politics.
Okay, Dr. Ndebo. I think, unfortunately, we will not be able to, or the Kia will not be able to get your expansive experience because time was out.
Sorry for that.
All the best, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abdallah. I'll now request Mr. Solonka to ask you a few questions.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Now, there is this person, and for purposes of this interview, let's call him John Maneno.
John Maneno, yes.
Yes, his father is a Kenyan. His mother is a Tanzanian. John Maneno was born in 1972 in Arusha, Tanzania, and he's been living there.
Yes.
Where his father was working for the East Africa Community on secondment.
Yes.
By the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
He's back in the country and is a prominent politician in Kenya, and he has declared that he'll be running for presidency in the forthcoming general election. Article 137 clearly states that the first requirement for you to be to run for presidency is that you must be a Kenyan citizen by birth.
Yes.
Is John Maneno qualified?
If he was born outside Kenya, then he cannot run for elections.
So he's not, to you, he's not Kenyan by birth?
Because
he was born in Tanzania?
Yes, because the Constitution is very clear on that. We cannot negotiate that.
Okay. Yes. Now, who is a Kenyan citizen by birth?
Is a person whose parents are Kenyans, both, and born in Kenya.
So you must be born physically here in Kenya?
Yes.
For you to be a citizen by birth?
Yes.
Okay.
It is important.
It's important.
It's important that Obama, with those fellows who thought he wasn't an American.
Okay. The law is that regardless of where you're born, if your parent, one of them is a Kenyan, you're a citizen of Kenya by birth. Okay. What is the other qualification for you to be a citizen, a Kenyan citizen by birth?
As our residence,
What do you mean?
by birth,
You must have a residence in Kenya.
yes.
Okay.
The other reason for, of course, if the parents are naturalized and have become Kenyans, then that person is a Kenyan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you need to look at Article 137
Okay.
of the Constitution.
That's all.
Now, okay, what are the 4 qualifications for contesting as a president under the Constitution of Kenya, 2010?
Okay.
4 qualifications. Give me the 4 qualifications.
One of them is he or she must be a Kenyan by birth.
Okay.
One, he must have a degree, a university degree recognized in Kenya.
That's what the Constitution says. You must have a degree.
Maybe I'm confusing the act. One is by birth.
Yes.
The second one is he must have support of 2,000 people from the majority counties.
Correct.
Yes.
That.
The other one.
Okay, because of time, you can still check.
Yeah, I'll check.
You check.
As soon as
And what are the disqualifications?
those qualifications.
Yes.
One of them is if it's in breach of Chapter 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Chapter 6
Yes.
is one of the disqualification. The other one?
Qualifications, I think that the degree comes in now.
The degree.
Yeah.
You need again to look at Article 137,
Yeah.
2 of the Constitution. Those are basic things. Okay. And kindly explain to us this electoral term. What is gerrymandering?
Gerrymandering is when delimitation is being done.
Yes.
It is carved in such a way that it to the advantage or in favor of one politician, to the disadvantage of those ones
Okay.
who have been affected.
All right. Yes. And who is an independent candidate?
Independent candidate is a person who has no party. In other words, even if he had a party, but he must, so to say, be partyless 3 months before elections.
It must be?
Without a party, meaning partyless. Okay. In other words, a person cannot be an independent candidate if he belongs to a party. So he must be known not to have been a party member 3 months before elections.
And that candidate can run for which elective positions?
All of them.
Just name them.
The president.
Yes.
But the conditions for that are the number of people you bring are more than if, say, he was a senator. Mm-hmm. So those who will run are the president. Of course, that will include the running mate as a presidential running mate. The senator, the governor, a member of parliament, a women rep, and MCA.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Solonka. I'll now request Madam Elizabeth Mayo to ask you a few questions.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, Dr. Salim.
Yeah. Madam.
Yes.
Yes.
we got confidential reports from some of your referees, and one of your referees wrote very, very good things about you. And one of them I'll just bring to your attention. He said, after your retirement, you deputized the implementation of Nyumba Kumi security program. Is that true?
Yes, that is true, madam.
Yeah, that's good. And this one took you to every point in this country where you formed grassroots security committees.
That is true, madam.
That is true?
Yes.
So kindly tell us, what is Nyumba Kumi and what was your mandate under Nyumba Kumi?
Thank you, madam.
But be brief, eh?
Yeah, well, I will do that. Nyumba Kumi simply is a group of people, and I'm explaining to differentiate it from Nyumba Kumi in Tanzania, because it was confusing here, and the Nyumba Kumi that was started here, even in this country. That Nyumba Kumi was about a few people selected to help the police do security work. Now, the Nyumba Kumi now that I was a deputy chair was taking a village to be a Nyumba Kumi with about 15 officials. On of settling disputes and bringing about security, so that what they do, those officials will sit, of course, with the entire village, and then once they sit, they get co-opted members from various government agencies, police, KWS, including health, all those people that are concerned with people's affairs. And so when they do that, they prioritize what is the problem here. This village will be having a different priority from the next, because they're the ones who know what the problem is. So, and Nyumba Kumi also, it does not deal with crime alone. Crime is part of it, but it deals with other aspects of human life within that village. Like they deal with health, they will deal with education. The pupils are doing very badly in schools. They will deal with, for instance, when we had this pandemic, those are the people who will come forward and say the problem is like this, and then a solution is found. So, in other words, we established something called the ecosystem of security, how they are related to one another. Health can be a security problem. Hate speech, ethnicity, those are things, land disputes, those are things that will bring about problem in security. So Nyumba Kumi, they sit, and also they can prescribe on how that is going to be solved. So to avoid situations whereby security people sit and go into a village and do what they think will solve the problem. But the people themselves will know and they will recommend, we want APCD.
Okay, thank you. So my next question is on how we can collaborate with the Nyumba Kumi as IBC to actually maintain peace. Yeah? So Electoral Code provides for the establishment of peace committees based on your experience, Dr. Ndemo, on implementation of Nyumba Kumi security program. Do you think this collaboration can be seen as interference by the executive? If IBC is to collaborate with Nyumba Kumi?
Thank you, Madam. Nyumba Kumi is apolitical in the first place. Apolitical in the sense that it's not affiliated to any kind of politics. Okay?
Okay.
So they are just people who come up to look at the problems that affect them. Participation in elections is good for all of them. It is something that IBC can collaborate with, because that they are not aligned to anybody. That's why I made it clear from the start. Our Nyumba Kumi is not like the Tanzanian one. Tanzanian one is a CCM affair. So that if an electoral management body works with them, then effectively is political party. But that is one thing we made very clear, that politics should be out of Nyumba Kumi, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So in terms of voter apathy, still I come back to Nyumba Kumi.
Yes.
If you are appointed as commissioner, how will you use your experience in managing Nyumba Kumi to support voter education, to support voter registration, because it has been identified as one challenge actually IBC is facing, and also to deal with issues of hooliganism. You talked of hotspot areas, yeah?
Yes.
So how can the concept of Nyumba Kumi be used by IBC to address these issues?
Thank you, madam. As I said, Nyumba Kumi is that cluster within a given area. They are the people who know the problems that exist there. If there is a poor voter registration, they will know it is either because of IDs, of course that is not the only reason, or it is because a certain politician uttered something that scared half or a substantial number of people. So they are the ones who know the problems that exist there and what can encourage the people to register. And because it incorporates even the young people, the youth, their problems can be taken on board. Because people do not register because, as I said earlier, because of various reasons. Those reasons are very well known to those people, and are the ones in collaboration with IBC who can sort that problems, and nobody else, not a politician, nobody else.
So, Dr. Salim, you are not coming out to tell us how you will use your experience
Yes.
under Nyumba Kumi to help IBC address some of these challenges. You want to be a commissioner.
Yes.
So if you are a commissioner tomorrow, I believe some of these challenges which have been identified, they are even in the strategic plan, will be some critical issues which will be in your to-do list. So how will you use this experience you have? And you are saying it is a very effective way of identifying causes of some of the problems.
Yes, what I said is that because these people know their problems, this group can even be instrumental in even identifying people who can help IBC to talk to the people. Because every region or community has a way of communicating either to the young men or to women or any other group. So if we are doing voter education, we will connect with these Nyumba Kumis through the existing structures so that they will help us, and we would have identified the problems. If, like in community A or constituency A or part of it, there is a problem there, then we will invite this through our local officers, and even commissioners can find time to go and talk to such serious issues about voter education, so that they can speak to them. They'll tell them what are the strategies to use, because they know themselves. So in short, to answer the question, is that we will connect with the Nyumba Kumi along, just like we will have Nyumba Kumi as one of our valuable stakeholders that we will connect and...
Okay, lastly,
yes.
On voter education,
Yes.
how will you manage to carry out voter education in areas which are remote, areas where there are no infrastructure, areas which are really, really polarized?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those areas, Madam Mayor, those are the areas I've worked throughout my entire career in the civil service. As I said, if the local people, they know how to reach other people. And if you have worked close to reach them as a representative of the commission. Conditions there are very tough, okay, but there is no place we did not go. So you will form groups, and these groups know how to maneuver their terrain. Get the right people to speak to them. Right? Because if you don't have the right people in these communities, there is nothing much you can do. Yeah. It must be right in very many respects, because you cannot have somebody who people detest in that area or did something or comes from some community. Maybe it is a community that is viewed by the majority that they came here, they do not have experience of administering us and so on. So that's why I say it's important. Once you do that, get the right people, they can move and they know how to maneuver in those areas.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Salem. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. I'll now request the Vice Chair to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, yes, Dr. Ndemo. As a leader in various positions, especially in the provincial administration that you served for a long time, have you ever faced failure in your job?
Failure, well, there are places where, as I mentioned, even when I was in Narok and Kajiado, where I did not attain my goals, and the reasons are various. So I did not succeed according to what I wanted. I didn't succeed there.
Could you just give a situation, just one example, where you faced challenges and why? Just one example.
In this respect, or
in your career?
Yes.
As an administrator?
Yes.
You said you faced challenges.
Yes.
Could you just give one situation where you faced challenges to implement what you set out to do to the point whereby you have almost failed?
As I said, that is one of them because of politics. I didn't, or would you like me to?
You just describe one situation, so that one situation that, you can illustrate that in this particular situation, this is what happened.
Yes. Maybe without having to name very particular names.
Don't name names.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
There was a boundary dispute in Narok Transmara between two groups. This was from the colonial days. I attempted to have that boundary finalized, but something else happened. The high-ranking member of the executive offered to come and arbitrate. And the manner in which he was arbitrating is like he had received information from one group. So that thing flopped because of that kind of, I don't want to call it interference, but because of that initiative by that particular very, very senior executive.
So it was not because of you, it was because of interference from high authorities. the inability to execute that
It's
function.
a mixture, but if you want me to give another, there are so many examples, like security in Tana River. I was not able to totally deal with it to the satisfaction of people, and this is because of lack of the necessary facilities. I can say that.
Yeah. Now, leading to that, you are a commissioner of the IBC, and you are supposed to oversee elections in a certain area. And something arises that requires external input. For example, administrative input from the administrators on the ground, and they're not able to cooperate. How do you handle that?
In this case, if there was a problem, I would obviously deal with the officers of the national government. And if they are not cooperative, then, assuming it was at the county level, I'll deal with it at the provincial level. I have a word with the provincial or the regional boss on how to deal with that. Because some of them are in such a way that that if you don't pass through there, you will have a very... So I will pursue that one to the higher level so that make sure that that is done.
Yeah, the thing is, IBC is supposed to be an independent commission, institution, as per the Constitution. But in executing its mandate, quite often you find that a percentage of why it's not able to achieve its mandate is because of lack of cooperation by other actors. As a commissioner, how would you handle this aspect of the IBC functions?
Yes. One thing, I try to look at the strategic plan and the literature from IBC. Maybe I didn't take enough time. I did not find a situation whereby they have got a relationship, personal relationship with the stakeholders, meaning, and this should be regular. Like if they had a relationship with these particular officers you're talking about, the problem I see, and that is why it doesn't work, is that a crisis has come, you are talking to them. In terms of coordination, I think coordination must start early. Coordination does not start in the middle. So if you had that started early coordination meaning connecting with these people, having a personal relationship, I don't think whether you'll have a problem.
Thank you. There's an issue which is pertinent in this country, which makes people suffer from inability to exercise their political right, and that is voter suppression. Now, again, from your experience, and I'm going towards the issuance of IDs, which is a major cause of voter suppression, where you find in one area, a certain section of the region, IDs are not issued to young people who are eligible to vote. In a certain area, it's 100% coverage, almost. And the issuance of IDs is under the provincial administration. Now, from your experience, what leads to this kind of situation where a certain section is favored, another section is not covered? Have you encountered this kind of things?
Yes.
How have you dealt with them?
The problem is you will find that when they are doing registration, they get somebody, an equivalent of a sponsor. That there is a person telling them, I want you tomorrow to go and register my people, as they call it. That's a very frequent statement I had in the field. Sometimes we have to deal with this in a very firm way. So the reason why that happens is because the officers issuing ID cards are led by somebody else who is not an official, actually an interested party.
Finally, this is again a scenario taking you back to 1988. You are a DC and a returning officer. You just concluded your elections in your area and you have now the results and you're about to transmit to the headquarters. Then you get a call from your seniors telling you, please change that result and put it this way. What would you do? Because those things happened at that time, where the longest queue didn't win the election, the shortest won. How would you handle that kind of situation?
My answer is very straightforward because, again, I've faced such.
Okay.
I'll say no. I said no one in Kajiado, I can mention this without having to it, and I said no one in Central Province, whereby politicians allied to the ruling party then wanted to get everybody from the polling station bribed. And they were quite powerful people, and they would do it. When I got the information, I wrote and informed the government, and it went to the right person in the government, that this is wrong and it will even make the government unpopular. It was nipped in the bud.
Okay,
in Kajiado, I was told, I want so and so. He says it can't.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair. I'll now request Reverend Father to ask you some questions.
Thank you, Chair. Dr. Salim, earlier on, one of our panelists regarded you as an elder. And they said that an elder, where an elder can see when seated, even when young people climb a tree, they can't see. What is that unique thing which you saw and would wish to bring to IEBC?
Okay. IEBC should avoid. I think the conduct is like Caesar's wife, because little things can cause a lot of suspicion. I'll give you an example. When I stood for elections, I was going to present my papers like today. Then the IEBC officer rang me and told me, no, you will present like Friday. Reasons, he did not tell me. I may have been something sinister, but not very serious anyway. What's the difference in a day? Okay, so I didn't take it as a straightforward, although I did not take any serious action, as I've said, because these are 2 days, but they should avoid such things. Number two, information comes very late, and IEBC is mandated by the Constitution to give information. Some of the information for the general public and information to certain stakeholders. If you want trust, you must be compassionate with that person. That is why children tend to trust their mothers than anybody else. We must establish a relationship whereby that person or the stakeholder understands you very well. If we don't, then we will not be successful.
Thank you, sir. It is in the public that our country is going to its knees because of corruption. As a leader, as you know, having been a leader for quite some time, what measures did you try to put in place to mitigate?
Yes. Thank you very much. Corruption is a problem everywhere, is a problem in our country, but that is not the reason why we can't make efforts to try and minimize it, if not eliminate it. When we talk of corruption, actually we are talking about
Why crocodile inaweza tokea juu. Hiyo sijakula hata unataka nikufe kabla ni. I don't like it. I don't. Miss Kai na hipo ikitokelezea ivuruche simu yangu. No, ni sawa. Those who know me will tell you I'm not a lover of large volumes of water. But for you, we rove the different parts of the country and beyond just to make sure that we bring you the experience. We educate you, we entertain you, and we inform you.
That it's not political and it can do something.
As we sail the boat of Morning Cafe to enlighten you, entertain you, and inform you every Monday to Friday, only on TV 47.
Woo. Construction can be quite a task, but how do you move from finding your piece of land, sourcing the right materials, getting the right labor force to put up your building?